Hello there everyone, and welcome to Totally Accurate Battle Simulator. And as we can see, we've got a totally accurate battle simulation taking place right in front of us, where Valkyries are attacking Stone Age warriors. So I was actually asked by one of my viewers to go ahead and go back to this, as I did, I think, a few videos. I do remember one specific that we did, where I kind of tried out Napoleonic tactics. Now, unfortunately, the Napoleon army is not in this version of the game. They removed it, or what they did was they split it off into two different ones, the Renaissance and the Pirates. And that might be just as well, because we're not going to redo the same thing over and over again, even though it was 2 years, I think. Or at least the commenter said that. There was 2 years since I last time did a battle in this. Instead, what we're going to do is we're going to use the new faction, which is the Renaissance faction. And we're going to do the King of Kings in terms of Renaissance formations. Namely, the Tercio, the Spanish Tercio formation. And if you don't know what it is, well, just sit back because I'm going to show you. So we're going to start off here by building a halberd square, or really it should be a pike square, but since we're using the Renaissance units, we're going to use what's at hand. So these will be stand-in for our Spanish pikemen. So, let's see, we're gonna draw out a line here. Let's see, how many did I have? Let's see, 6. So then we'll drag 6 this way as well. And that will be our pike square. So the Tercio formation kind of came about after a Spanish defeat against the French. Where the French use of their famed heavy cavalry, but also Swiss mercenary pikemen. And so this was the idea then to defeat them. We're gonna have gunners here on the side. Now, what they would deploy is they would have these smaller than squares of musketeers on the side. So we would have one here and one here, so they would have one in each. The thing is, if I put another square here, then that one's just gonna shoot the first one. So there's no point in having that. So instead, we're just gonna make the one squares a little bit thicker, and hopefully can get kind of they can kind of fire in between each other. So we kind of get that, but in reality, they're supposed to be another two there. And also there would be kind of an elongated line along here where they could have a kind of a constant fire going on, where the first guy would fire, then he would rotate to the back and reload, and they would go through it like that, so they could keep a constant fire. We're gonna start off by having them just face the one-off units of separately. And we're going to start off with the Swiss pikemen. So we've got 54 soldiers here. I'm going to use an ancient unit, so we're going to have Greek units, but I think it's sort of I want something different than this one, to not sort of have the same look as the Spanish. And I think that it kind of it does a pretty good job at doing the Swiss pikemen. So we're going to put Swiss pikemen here, even though they're Greek. And we're going to make sure that we get the same kind of numbers as the enemy, so it's not uneven in that sense. So we got this really deadly Swiss pike formation, ready to mow the enemy down. And we're supposed to get 54 of these, which kind of makes me nervous that the Tercio is not going to make it. And let's go ahead and start then. And I'm going to go into slow-mo immediately. because partly because otherwise it will go really quickly, but also because the frames is a lot better when you go into slow-mo. So right now I'm in super slow-mo, just to be able to see the formations moving. So these are supposed to be Swiss pikemen. You can use your imagination against the Spanish Tercio formation. And their gunners are about to fight. We're gonna go ahead and just move. There we go. And they fire into the ranks of the Swiss pikemen, and it's mass casualties as the bullets pass through the soldiers and kill quite a few there as they march forward in the tight formation. And they kind of showcase the weakness. So what I've heard is that the Tercio comes from kind of the what's it called, etymology of it is that it comes from kind of meaning bundle, meaning that you take on its own the gunners would be vulnerable to cavalry attack, and pikemen on their own would be vulnerable to gunners, as we can see with the Swiss here. So you bundle them together, and then also would have sword and buckler in there as well. So you bundle them all together to get the best out of two things. And yeah, the Tercio reigned king for about 100 years on the battlefield before it was kind of outdone as technology progressed. But the thing is, the Tercio is often kind of sneered at, looked down upon, and so I would say the Spanish Empire is also often kind of looked down upon compared to some of the later ones. Anyways, we're gonna speed it up here a little bit, see if the pikes, because still the Swiss have the long pikes, so they could definitely do some pretty good damage on the Spanish. But as they're broken up, so you can see the long pikes of the Swiss strike at the Spanish long before they are, but since the formation was so broken up, it might not go too well. I think there's an upside though to the fact that the halberdiers are using kind of a cutting motion as it throws the enemy's pikes all over the place. And it's certainly not going well for the Swiss pikemen. And I'm no longer worried about the resourcefulness and the power of the Spanish Tercio. And yeah, the Spanish gunners started to team kill there a bit on the end. Right, so let's go ahead and switch up the scenario a little bit. So the pikemen on their own don't do too well. What are you guys doing over here? Yeah, you're definitely going away. And we're gonna remove some of them to make it even. And we're then gonna add on units. And we're gonna add on famed heavy French cavalry to the flanks. Okay, that didn't really work on that side. Kinda got stuck there on the pumpkins. So I think 4 on each side. Now this might be a little bit too heavy for the Tercio, given that that these cavalry guys can take quite a beating. We'll see how this goes though. And we're going to super slow-mo, awaiting the shot. So the heavy French cavalry, Pierre and his mates, are charging recklessly right towards the Spanish formation. The gunners, they release their volley, and oh, the horses get them right in the face. We've got that horse just died, that one is wounded. Okay, all the horses seem to have died except one. And it could be the same for the rider. Let's see, this guy is dead. Okay, so it didn't go too well for the French riders. I think this rider actually made it. On the other side, it's a similar situation. Seems like all the riders here. I think we have one French rider. He's Tokyo drifting around because his horse got hit that one time and it's spinning around. Now, that of course is kind of a devastating blow that all but one of the French knights have died. The thing is though, this leaves so many more of the Swiss pikemen alive that they very much outnumber the Spanish ones. So that could definitely see the end of the units that are meant to... Oh! That French knight is... His horse is panicking after being shot, and he's destroying the famed discipline of the of the Swiss pikemen, and it just goes ahead and rides. I mean, they would have been better off if that guy died. God damn it, Pierre! And the Swiss pikemen are not doing too well here. They are getting cut up. And if they manage to succeed here, the Spanish gunners are ready to fire, even if it means shooting their own soldiers. They're really accurate. There's one Swiss guy left and he takes... Yeah. Once again, the Tercio is victorious. Right, so we could add on artillery and stuff, but I think we need something to match them. We need something to defeat them. And what I'm thinking is we're gonna do the Swedish formation, which is very similar to the Tercio, but is using a lot more gunners. So if I remember this correctly now, how this is done. So it's kind of done in a kind of triangle formation. And if I remember correctly, we're gonna do it like this. So we're gonna have 4 gunners like that. And then we're gonna have 4 or 8 gunners, I should say. We have four in a line, like so. So we're up to 24. Let's see if we can match Spanish then, and then we would have pikes to back these up when we start off with having 4 for each. So that leaves what? That leaves 2 extra for each one of these. So that is kind of would be the Swedish formation, if I'm remembering correctly. I did do in Medieval 2. You can go ahead and check my 30 Years War Battle series, where we kind of deployed in these sort of formations. Anyways, we're gonna see how this goes. So we're gonna go into super slow-mo immediately, because there's gonna be a lot of gunners firing here. The downside to this is the Swedish pikemen are pushing up in the backs of their gunners, which could mean that Swedish gunners, all looking like Gustav Adolphus, could kinda... this one I didn't see. He's firing through his friend's armpit there. Right, let's see. There we go. Boom! So there's a high amount of gunners, which means that for the first time, some of the Spanish gunners are dying, besides friendly fire. And also there's a higher casualty rate in the Tercio. But then again, the Swedes take a mighty blow as well. But it looks like it's mostly concentrated on the center formation. It looks like the center formation is completely dead. I don't think anyone survived in this one. So just the formation type here is that the Spanish were all focusing in their bullets. Yeah, we can kind of see how the tracers go out there. So they focused in on the center, which is leaving the 2 sides leaving them intact. Oh, you know what? There's quite a few of Swedish pikemen that survive the center. The thing is, though, there's still... I guess the big thing here to take away from this is there are a lot more of the Spanish gunners died. Now, the Spanish will be able to lay more attacks in the early fight here, which could definitely prove detrimental to the Swedes. But the Swedes have more gunners left, so that could prove to be the deciding factor. It's been kind of the deciding factor in the other battles. And it looks like the Swedish pikemen are not really doing too well. They're kind of hemming the Spanish in, and now some of the Swedish gunners have started firing here. And it looks to be going pretty well, because the Swedish gunners won't be doing that much team killing if we look at the angles. They'll be firing in through here and in through here, while our pikemen is kind of on the side. The Spanish are firing back, trying to get a few of these, which are definitely needed, because this guy was kind of coming around. But I think once... I think that guy just shot his friend. As the Swedes release their volley, it's utter devastation, and the blue team won. Right, and with that, I think I'm gonna end this video. It's gonna go a rather short one, but if you place down in the comments if you thought I did something wrong and you want me to redo it, then I'll happily redo that. Or if you want to see something else, because there are a few others. And I kind of want to keep doing, or try as much as possible to stay away from the super crazy one. Like, whatever this is, Monkey King. And we would try, kind of trying to do at least some historical formations. I could definitely see us doing... there are archers. Like, I could definitely see us doing... what's it called? Agincourt and stuff like that. Trying to do that with a longbows and stuff. But yeah, here we have the Spanish Tercio, and how it kinda starting to go out of fashion. It was still potent during the 30 Years' War, but yeah, as we saw here, there was more emphasis towards the smaller formations, more maneuverable, as we saw, more maneuverable, and more importantly, more firepower. So yeah, with that said, we're gonna end it right here. So, as I always say, hopefully you guys enjoyed it, and hopefully I'll see you guys for the next one. Bye!